Hey guys, Chef Laura here. So today we're gonna make Spaetzle. It's an easy dish with very common ingredients that you probably already have in your cupboard. So let's get started. I have a cup of all-purpose flour. We're just gonna put it in the bowl. Then just a pinch of salt. A pinch of white pepper. And a pinch of nutmeg. We're gonna mix the dry ingredients first, and then we will add the wet ingredients, which are 2 eggs, whole eggs, a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of milk, and that's it. So first, I'm just gonna take the dry ingredients and mix them around so that the seasonings are dispersed evenly in the dry ingredients. Done. Then I've got my eggs here. I'm gonna add my milk, my water, and I'm just gonna scramble them. Once that's done, I'm gonna add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. And mix that really well until it's all incorporated into the flour. So Spaetzle means little sparrow in German, and it's a very common pasta dish. The consistency of your dough needs to be kind of watery, very similar to what pancake dough would be. So as you can see, and again, it's going to vary on how thick your flour was packed into your cup. This is a little bit thick, so I am going to add a little bit more water to the mixture. So I'm going to add just a little bit of water. We'll start with like maybe 2 tablespoons, just until I get the consistency that I'm looking for, which again is very much like pancake batter. That's pretty good. I think maybe just a tiny smidge more. Okay, so my batter is nice and runny, like pancakes. Okay, and we're ready to start cooking our Spaetzle. Again, I've got my Spaetzle nice and liquidy and a pot of hot water going. You don't need a lot of hot water, so I'm just using a saucepan. And then one important thing that I like to do is to keep a ice water bath right next door to the pot, so that when your Spaetzle is done, you can take it out and immediately put it into the cold water. This will keep it from continuing to cook, and then you won't end up with mushy Spaetzle. So you want to cook it and then shock it and then drain it. So here we go. You do need a colander. Any kind will work. And we're just gonna drop the dough into the colander, and it's gonna drop into the pot. Once the Spaetzle is floating, it is done. And as you can see, the dough is just dripping down from the colander into the pot. And I've already got some bits and pieces floating already. So those little guys are done. We're gonna pull them out in just a moment. I've got my bowl of cold water here and some sort of a strainer to pull your Spaetzle out. And we're going to put it directly into the cold water and cool it quickly. This will also allow you time to make whatever other ingredients you're going to cook your Spaetzle into, whether it's a sauce or sauteing some vegetables, making sausage, whatever you want. And again, the creativity is endless as far as the pasta is concerned. So I'm just going to start with this small amount right now, and then we're going to make a nice sauce to go with the Spaetzle. Okay, so we're back. Now I'm going to make just a quick easy sauce to go with my Spaetzle. And I've got my Spaetzle drained and cooled, all ready to go. I'm going to start with just a little bit of bacon. It's actually just one slice of bacon. And again, I already had it ready to go in my fridge, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to cook that off for a few minutes. Then I'm going to add some onion. I sliced up some mushrooms. I've got a little bit of chopped garlic. And then I've got some fresh thyme and some fresh sage to go with it. I have just a smidge of chicken stock, some white wine, and we're gonna add a pinch of salt and pepper to that. And then we're just gonna make a really basic sauce. Then we'll toss the Spaetzle into it, and hopefully it comes out really good. Okay, so I just sauteed my bacon for like a minute, so it's still really undercooked. But I want to leave it that way because I'm going to throw the onions in and cook the onions in with the bacon at the same time. And I'm using the fat from the bacon as the moisture and the grease in the pan. And so now my onions and my bacon are sauteing nicely. I'm sauteing the onions till they're a little translucent. It wasn't enough fat from the bacon just because I put only one slice of bacon in there. So I did add a tiny little amount of butter to the pan. So it was like maybe a teaspoon worth. And now I'm going to add my mushrooms in there. And we're going to saute those until those are nice and golden. Then we'll get the garlic in there towards the end. You don't want your garlic to burn. And so now my onions, my bacon, and my mushrooms are sauteing really nice. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic to there, and it's just pre-chopped. And my pan is getting a little caramelized now, so that's also a good time for me to add some white wine to the pot. So that'll deglaze the pan. I mean, it also adds another layer of flavor and complexity to whatever dish that you're doing. So I use white wine in a lot of my dishes to deglaze the pan and just, again, add another layer. So we're just going to add a little smidge. And that amount of liquid will automatically get all of the little burnt bits off the bottom of the pan. And we're going to let that reduce just a little bit so that it's drier. And then we'll add a little bit of chicken stock. Okay, so I've got everything in there nice and caramelized, and as you can see, the wine that I put in there is almost all gone. So now I'm just going to add just a little bit of chicken stock, a pinch of pepper. I like lots of pepper. A pinch of salt, and I'm going to do a sprig of thyme. I like to leave it in there whole so that way I can just pull it out and toss it when I'm done. And I'm going to do just a little bit of sage. It tends to lend itself well to Spaetzle. All right, so my little sauce is going nice and neat. It's a little on the drier side. I don't like it to be really runny, like more of like a spaghetti sauce, but it's really going to depend on what you like. So I am going to finish it off with a little nug of butter to get it nice and creamy. And then we're going to toss our Spaetzle into the pan. And we're just going to mix that around so that all of the pasta is nice and evenly coated. And I've got my Spaetzle sauteed in here nice and neat with all of my ingredients. And it's pretty much done, so we're just going to plate it and have a bite. And my Spaetzle's done, nice and hot. I'm just going to give it a taste. That's good. So remember with Spaetzle, you can do just about anything you want. You could do like an Italian sausage and saute that off with some greens like kale or chard. A creamy mushroom sauce would be really good. You could just do brown butter and sage if you'd like. Serve it with like a pork schnitzel or pork chops. Really anything that you like. Get creative with it.